Hello, sinners! How are ya? On today's installment of the Letterboard of Truth, our quote of the day is, "We accept the cringe we think we deserve." That was the quote from Perks of Being a Wallflower, right? It's time for our quarterly cringe session, sinners, because we'll be fighting yet again in the glorious trenches of r/sad cringe. Last time we went through this subreddit, we learned that as a man, it's gay to tell another man good morning. We learned that there are Confederate furries roaming the earth as we speak. What a time to be alive. And finally, we learned that this gentleman is looking for a roommate who can help pay bills and electric, who has a job, who can afford these things, maybe a lady roommate. Unfortunately, I can't say that the posts I'll be showing you today will be any better, but that's for you to decide, because sinners who cringe together stay together. Anyway, here's r/sad cringe. What do you do for work? Freelance photography and writing, plus some backbreaking yard work. I've gone back to school, so in the next 2 years, I'll have a different answer, huh? How about you? Play any instruments? Was that the answer that was the deal breaker? Just be kind enough to say bye, haha. It's a shame people don't ask about IQ. I'm quite a bit above average, 136. Woo! Average being 90-something. Well, I'm smart enough to know when I've lost my bait. Ideally, it's just you falling back to sleep, which I'm about to do. Patience is a virtue that this person clearly doesn't have. For those of you who aren't iPhone users, you might notice that there's a bit of a gap between certain groups of text. Usually a timestamp will pop up if you text someone over an hour later. So the fact that there are tiny gaps between some of the messages means that this was all sent within a few minutes. And I love how he literally acknowledges that she might have fallen back to sleep at the end of his wall of text, which could explain why she's not responding. Or it could be because you're sending her a wall of text after she didn't respond right away. If someone doesn't respond after a long period of time, then they're probably ghosting you, but that's like after a few days, not a few minutes. Also, you gotta love how he threw in the IQ score at the very end, even though I think those tests have been proven to be bullshit. He says he's 136, but no, he's not. And I don't need proof to justify that either. This guy's very Elon Musk coded. And I don't mean that as a compliment. Anyway, this next post is a screenshot of an Amazon review for a dog collar. You could probably see where this is going. Best training item for all your training needs, like your boyfriend or girlfriend too, with consent. At least it's consensual. That's like the bare minimum, but hey, consent is awesome. This product is wonderful, can be used more than dog training. It's perfect to train your boyfriend or girlfriend, like me, my boyfriend in training. Yes, it's kinky and both consented. He kind of talks like that one tailor who gropes his clientele.
Young Chinese boy is so tall, we know we have sex.
Charging lasts forever days, multiple usages, safety-wise, be careful, it's easy to press. Thank you for that last bit, sir. Next time I put on my shock collar, I'll make sure to handle it with caution and care. There seems to be a trend, and it's probably not even a trend. I'm sure people have been doing this for forever, but there's a certain group of people that use animal products on humans. The common example of this phenomenon is with the horse crops that equestrians use. I looked up horse crops on Amazon right before shooting this video, and I went to the reviews, and literally none of the reviewers owned a horse. But hey, different strokes for different folks. I'm not gonna judge that much. As long as it's with consent and both consented, it's fine with me. If dog collars aren't your thing, then I might have something better for you, thanks to today's sponsor, LELO. LELO's been a leader in the adult toy industry for 20 years, but there's so much more to them than that. LELO's mission has always been to pioneer a self-care movement that transcends gender, race, sexuality, and age. Did you know that each LELO toy is designed to facilitate a minimum of 15,600 orgasms, meaning that LELO has made people curl their toes about 171.6 billion times over the past 2 decades. That's a lot of orgasms. And toes. Today, LELO continues to expand their highly popular Enigma toy line with The Enigma Wave. This triple stimulation sonic massager caters to both erogenous zones, unlocking new levels of satisfaction and fulfillment that brings you endless pleasure. It also utilizes wave motion technology, mimicking a finger-like motion. With the combination of sonic waves and gentle pulses, you are guaranteed an incredible sensory experience. And make sure you try out the 8 different modes, which vary in intensity. The control is literally in your hands. You know what they say. With great power comes great responsibility. No pun intended. If you're feeling curious, adventurous, and ready for something new, LELO's Enigma Wave will elevate your pleasure to new heights. Don't just take my word for it. Make sure to click the link at the top of my description to try out the Enigma Wave for yourself. Should probably stop using it as a pointer. Not only will you be supporting the channel, but you'll also be supporting you. So thank you to my friends over at LELO for sponsoring yet another one of my videos. They are such an amazing company, which is why I've chosen to work with them for so long. Anyways, let's get back to your scheduled program, shall we? So this next post is a screenshot from some incel forum. That alone is cringe, but let's see what this person has to say. Yesterday, as I was laying in bed, I hugged my pillow close as I can. Imagined it being a girl playing with her smooth and gentle hair. I was rubbing the pillow. I talked with my pillow. We will be with each other forever, and felt all happy. I imagined the responses she would give me, telling me about how much she loves me. I'm pretty sure this is a TLC episode. Being there for me, comforting me. I had the best night's sleep in a long time. I will try talking to my pillow every night from now on. Hopefully, I will get better sleep and feel less lonely. What no does to a motherfucker. I mean, you're both on an incel forum, so this feels like friendly fire. Also, I just noticed that the original poster only joined last month and already has 159 posts on this forum. This truly is what no does to a motherfucker. While we're on the topic of incels, from time to time, I try to have sympathy for incels because I imagine this is a very lonely and isolated existence. These are dudes who don't have good support systems, who most likely have underlying mental health conditions, and overall just need a lot of help. But that doesn't mean you should turn around and support an ideology that harms women because you can't get a date. And when I'm reminded of that fact, that is why I go back to having little to no compassion for incels. This is an ideology that has radicalized thousands of lonely young men and teenage boys in our modern society. This is an ideology that allows people like Andrew Tate, Sneeko, Aiden Ross, and all of those stupid red pill guys to thrive.
I'm not delusional.
But I guess it's easier to blame women for your lack of introspection. Speaking of lonely men, I'm going to be showing you a video that went viral, I think a couple months ago, or at least like in the past year or so. But this guy is retelling his experience of meeting his favorite female streamer. Oh, I don't want to press play. All right, I will.
But I met a girl who's a streamer. I went up to her, I hugged her, and I came in my pants. Wow. Hugging her.
Wow. That is the smile of a man who has never felt shame in his life.
I think you need to get laid a little more often.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was just saying. Was she hot though? Was she like super duper duper hot?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's forgivable if she was super duper duper hot.
Yeah.
All right. Sometimes it's good to have secrets. This is a confession you take to your deathbed. I take back what I said earlier. This is what no pussy does to a motherfucker. I've said this before in videos, but normalize undersharing. Do we really need to know that you came in your pants just from hugging a girl? Not really. This guy probably comes when the wind blows towards him in a certain way. I think I gotta leave it at that, y'all. So this next post is a famous screenshot that's been passed around of conservative commentator Tim Pool. It's a screen grab of him on Fox News. The headline reads, "Woke agenda preventing me from having sex." So you're just gonna self-report like that on live television? But is it the woke agenda that's preventing you from getting laid? Or are you just deep deeply unlikable? Is it the woke agenda, or is it the putrid stench of your beanie that you haven't taken off since 2018? Truly one of life's greatest mysteries. But on a more serious note, I've seen some people refer to him as Dim Tool online, and quite frankly, I find that insulting, cause at least tools are useful. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. Honestly, I think this is a great way to start a Tinder conversation. It's fun, it's a pop culture reference everybody knows, and it helps you stand out. What could go wrong from here? Well, I know this is kind of weird and pushy, haha, but would you like to have sex with me? I'm not a creep or a pervert, just a genuine guy. I would treat you with respect, and the sex would be good. I could even make you squirt if the connection is right, haha. Oh, was Noah Centineo's Tinder leaked?
You gonna show me how you squirt or what?
So yeah, excuse me if I come across as a little uncalibrated, understatement of the year, but I think you're attractive, so what do you think? Haha.
She took the midnight train going Annie.
Oh, buddy, you started off so friggin' well. Was that the most original pickup line for a dating app conversation? No, but it's cute, it's funny, and you could have actually started a genuine conversation from that. But we can't have wholesome and funny conversations, can we? I don't know how, but this next post might be even cringier. It comes from the subreddit r/tattoos, and the title reads, "My girlfriend's friend's BF. He's 5'3" and has no sluts. No words." And this is the tattoo. Listen, being a short king is fine, but there's no excuse for this. And what's even crazier is that it's not even done well. So not only was this a shitty concept, but objectively it's a shitty tattoo. Like, if you're gonna have "my slut" tattooed on your hand, at least have it centered on the pendant, locket, or whatever. I'm all for freedom of expression. If it makes you happy and comfortable to present a certain way, that's amazing. But if you're gonna get something tattooed on your body, maybe you should think it through for more than 10 seconds. As in, more than the amount of time it took the tattoo artist to draw this art piece. So this next image is a screenshot of a Facebook post. You know when you change your profile picture on Facebook and that makes like a whole separate post? That's essentially what this is. This person changed their profile picture to a photo from their high school graduation, and apparently someone named Arthur had a thing or two to say about it. And don't worry, I made sure to blur out the profile picture because I assume this is a private Facebook account. Holy shit. College now. Last time I saw you guys, you weren't even in elementary, LOL. I assume this Arthur guy is maybe a distant family friend of this person, so I assume maybe he knows her through her parents or her family somehow. On a side note, you guys are obviously old enough to club now. Make this clear, if we ever see each other, don't say hi, I don't know you, don't even wave, just keep walking, don't come up to me and start talking like we're best friends, and definitely don't come up to me and start grinding. Sorry, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. This is the worst usage of reverse psychology I've ever seen. Like, oh my god, you should totally not come to the club with me and make out with me on the dance floor and then come back to my place and suck my dick. Just in case you didn't pick up on how creepy this is, let me put it into perspective for you. So this girl just graduated high school, so that means she just turned 18 or she's about to turn 18 depending on her birthday, which means that this Arthur dude only knew her when she was a minor, and now he's hitting on her. Someone needs to check Arthur's hard drive immediately. I feel like Arthur's the kind of dude who subscribed to Danielle Bergoli's OnlyFans the day she turned 18. Remember that punishment from Impractical Jokers where one of the guys had to show off their very questionable art pieces that they didn't know of ahead of time, and one of them was a countdown to when this hypothetical girl was legal? Yeah, that's Arthur, but unironically.
Can you tell the heart not to love for another 31 days, 5 hours, 10 minutes, and 1 second?
If you don't want to be arrested.
I hope terrible things happen to Arthur. And I'm gonna leave it at that. So this next post is a screenshot from Instagram from one of those accounts who preaches about saving the West, which I've learned is actually code, allegedly, for white supremacy, but that's a conversation for a different day. And it's a picture with 4 panels saying before TikTok, before Tinder, before prawn, and before globalism. These are all things you can still do in 2023. Like, you could still stand next to a woman outside, you can still kiss a woman outside, and you can still share a milkshake with a woman inside or outside, actually. The choice is up to you. If a traditional marriage and lifestyle is something you want to pursue, then good for you. But we live in a time where people don't feel forced to do that anymore, so they choose their own life path, and sometimes that means going down a non-traditional route, like not getting married, not having kids. If you made a Venn diagram for people who repost images like this and people who think the election was stolen in 2020, it would be a circle, I fear. Nobody knows the insides of a woman's mind, body, and soul like I do. After over a decade of using my skills and Machiavellian tactics to get anything I wanted, from loans to credit cards to my name being tatted and more, I can truly say I have an almost psychotic understanding of the game. Almost psychotic? Sure, there's guys that do good, but when you read what's inside, you'll see why I do it best. Nowadays, guys think that you need to fuck a chick to get her to start worshiping you, when in reality, it's the exact opposite. You lose your godhood when you become touchable. Not to kill the vibe or anything, but are you really a man with godhood if you have to read a book on how to pick up women? I'm just asking. This book is going to likely get me investigated and or canceled, so get it now before I am gone from all virtual spaces. This is the truth about the game. Ooh. So I see he took a page out of Andrew Tate and Logan Paul's books, claiming that, oh, the Matrix is coming for me. Oh, the Matrix is trying to get me. Brother, you committed a crime. It's not the Matrix. You broke the law. I'm trying to understand how a book about dating advice can get someone investigated and or canceled, unless that person was promoting illegal tactics. But he does have 16 ratings with an average of 5 stars, so clearly he's doing something right. So after many long and excruciating minutes, we have finally reached the last post I'm going to show you from r/sadcringe. And it's a news title that reads, "Man detained with 800-year-old mummy claiming she's his girlfriend." Aww. At least she's legal? I guess he was really desperate for a sugar mummy. I'm sorry, I had to. Is this the slippery slope conservatives are concerned about? And I already know this is gonna start a lot of age gap discourse because she's 800 years old and he's young and still with us, but please make sure to keep it respectful because I know age gap relationships tend to be a polarizing topic. That's all I got from r/sadcringe today. If you'd like to see me explore sad cringe again or look at any other subreddit going forward, please make sure to let me know down below. And in general, if there's anything, literally anything you'd like to see me talk about, I have a Google form linked in the description where you could submit your video ideas. But thank you so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a tiny thumbs up and subscribe down below. Thank you so much to LELO for supporting the channel. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Bye!